Good morning. I'm here at the Todd Nature Reserve. This property is located in Buffalo Township in the southeastern part of Butler County. This property is owned by the Audubon Society of Western PA. It is located along Keppel Road. This gravel driveway leads to a parking area. Here's another nesting tower. There's also a couple nesting towers along the Warbler Trail and at the Suckup Nature Park, which is located in Penn Township. Todd Nature Reserve is a 334-acre nature reserve that is owned and operated by the Audubon Society of Western PA. This property is 30 miles northeast of Pittsburgh and 5 miles northeast of Freeport, PA. W.E. Clyde Todd donated a portion of this property in 1942. Todd made bird discoveries while visiting his grandfather on his nearby farm. Todd later went on to become curator of birds at the Carnegie Museum. This reserve is the oldest in the state of Pennsylvania. Today there are 6 miles of trails for your enjoyment. Hike through evergreens and deciduous trees. Hiking and bird watching are the only activities permitted at the Todd Nature Reserve. Please keep in mind there are no visitor center or restrooms at the Todd. Throughout the year, they have guided nature hikes. The hiking trails are relatively easy with the exception of a few elevation changes. Please watch out for exposed roots and rocks. Visiting the Todd Nature Reserve is an experience that shouldn't be missed. Let's have a hike. Just going to descend down this trail until we come to a set of steps. These set of steps will take you to the Ravine Trail. The Ravine Trail lives up to its name because it goes down this steep gorge. To the left is Watson Run. Watson Run eventually empties into Buffalo Creek. The Ravine Trail is lined with hemlocks. We are going to hike down to the bottom and see how well the waterfall is flowing. The Ravine Trail opens up to a clearing, as seen here. Coming back up, there'll be a slight elevation change. The Ravine Trail descends down the gorge into this beautiful area with hemlocks. And the bugs are really bad right now. This trail does require fording the stream. Here's a nice peaceful area. Right here is where you have to ford Watson Run. As you can see, the trail comes out on the other side. This trail is not a loop, however you can connect to the loop trail. There is a little connector. We'll be seeing that later on. Here's a view of the falls. I believe the name of these falls are Watson Run Falls. The rock formations are very similar to those along the Howes Hollow Trail at McConnell's Mill State Park. You just want to use caution while viewing the falls because there are exposed roots and rocks. So just proceed with caution. This rock formation is really neat. Takes you over to the cabin. From the bridge there is a nice pink view of the stream. Here's the cabin. This is where you can grab a map. This depicts the history of the Todd Nature Reserve. And all of the trails are color-coded. There used to be a cabin that stood on this site. In 2019, a portion of the cabin had to be removed for two reasons. One was it was unsafe. Two is vandals were coming in and destroying stuff. It just makes me angry how people can be so inconsiderate. The fireplace is still standing and the corner of the foundation is still up. There's some flowers starting to bloom. On this hike, I'm going to do a portion of the loop trail. The loop trail circles the property. It's about a mile long. And then the loop trail is blazed in red. Each of the trails are color-coded. The Ravine Trail, for example, is purple. And these trails are very well marked. The trails are muddy, so you want to make sure you wear appropriate footwear. I'm wearing my Skechers hiking shoes. That trail there is the Warbler Trail. It's blazed in blue, but we are going to bear left and do the loop trail. Here we come into some evergreen trees. This trail has a nice selection of deciduous and evergreen trees. The Todd Reserve is generally pretty quiet. You do hear the sound of running water, which is so relaxing. You occasionally hear a car out on Keppel Road, and if the wind is blowing just right, you can hear traffic from Route 28. But generally speaking, it's pretty quiet here. Portion of the loop trail is partially flooded. We did have some heavy rainfall. From the hemlocks, we ascend into a deciduous forest. These all look like new growth trees. Along the loop trail is an iron ore pit. It's visible now, but next month when the foliage thickens, it's not going to be as easy to see. I'm not sure about the history of this iron ore pit. This is where the Warbler Trail comes out at. We are going to continue on the loop trail. There are some May apples starting to come up. There's some trees down. Looks like they've been there for a while because they're covered with moss. The trails are rocky in some spots, so you want to use caution. Okay, we are coming back down to the stream, and this area does require fording. There is no bridge. So let's go ahead and climb over this blowdown. Blowdowns are trees that are blocking the trail. So just gonna jump over it and just head on down the trail. Right here we're gonna get our feet wet. This portion of the trail requires us to ford the stream. Looks like somebody tried to build a bridge or a dam. I made it across. Just going to enjoy the sounds of the stream before we continue our hike. It was overcast this morning, but now the sun's starting to come out. It's going to be a gorgeous weekend. And trust me, we deserve it. The trail is starting to green up. This weekend, foliage is really going to start to get green. The temperature today is going to be near 80, same with Sunday. So it's going to feel more like June than end of April. It's hard to believe on Tuesday it was snowing. My kid's bus was 20 minutes late because a quick burst of snow made the roads white. But they all made it to school safe and sound. On Tuesday, I hiked on the Butler Freeport Trail, so you might want to check out my video, Snowy Walk on the Butler Freeport Trail in April. I forget the title of it, but it should be near this video. And to make it easy, you can always go under my hiking playlist to check out all of my hiking videos. Here is the pond. Nice bench to sit and relax and just enjoy the scenery. I believe this pond was put in the 1960s. And then during the late summer or fall months, there are lily pads on this pond. In the winter, it's covered with ice. This is just a nice, relaxing view. In this scene, we have spring meets fall. Fall foliage is still clinging to this tree hanging over the pond. But then, across the pond, we have some spring blossoms. It's starting to warm up nicely. Seems like the month of April we've been riding a roller coaster with these temperatures. It's warm, then it gets cold. It's warm this weekend, and then by Wednesday it's going to be in the 40s, maybe some wet snowflakes. It's like, come on, we're almost in May. This section of the loop trail is just a nice walk through the forest. It is very buggy. Truth is, I'd rather have the bugs than the trail being a sheet of ice. Bugs I can just swish away. "180 species of birds call the Todd Nature Reserve home." And they're really chirping this morning. Such a gorgeous morning. Most of these trails are very easy. There are some elevation changes. For example, at the Ravine Trail, there's a slight elevation change. This section's greening up nicely. Almost looks like something out of a fairy tale. These mayflowers look like they're ready to spread out. Here on the Potty Trail, I think that's how you pronounce it. And this trail is blazed in orange. I highly recommend, if you are a first-time visitor here to the Todd, grab a map, because the trail system can be kind of confusing for first-time visitors. However, the trails are very well marked. It's a beautiful sight, wildflowers blanketing the forest floor. We are going to descend down to Potty rocks. Potty is the fern that grows on the side of the rocks. It's neat how this tree took root in the rock. It's neat seeing this rock city on the trail. If you really want to see some giant boulders, drive up to Beartown Rocks. It is located near Clear Creek State Park in Jefferson County. It's definitely worth the trip. You can make that a side trip when you visit Clear Creek State Park. That is really neat. It's amazing how nature just grew over the rocks. I'm just gonna walk through the rocks. I'm on the lookout for snakes because they are out right now. I haven't seen one yet today, but if I see one, I'll try to get video of it. You want to refrain from climbing on the rocks. Another tree that took root. Last September, whenever I was hiking here, I did see a 10-foot long black rat snake. So if you check out my video, Late Summer Hike at the Todd, you'll be able to see footage of the snake. It's towards the end of the video. And like I said earlier, all of my hiking videos are under my hiking playlist on YouTube. Okay, we are going to descend back into the gorge. Just came off the Potty Trail and it joins here with the Loop Trail. We are back in the Evergreen Gorge. This scene is probably one of my favorite scenes at the Todd whenever the sun shines through the evergreens. Gives me like a Cook Forest vibe. The loop trail does get rocky again, so of course proceed with caution and wear proper footwear. This little connector trail brings you down to the Ravine Trail. The Ravine Trail is just a dead end. Oops, there's a bug. The bug photobombed my footage. But if you don't want to do the entire loop trail, there are other trails that zigzag through the property and you can shorten your hike. They're just as scenic as the loop trail. This is another one of my favorite areas. Watson Run, which is pictured right here, eventually flows into Buffalo Creek. Another little waterfall. I could ford the stream down at the bottom of the trail, but I don't feel like getting my feet wet. So I'm going to continue on the loop trail until I end up at the cabin. Here's a look into the gorge. This area right here reminds me a little bit of the Falling Run Trail at Goddard State Park in Mercer County. Area is very similar, despite them being 60 miles apart. That's another beautiful trail if you're looking for trails to hike. Falling Run Trail at Goddard State Park in Mercer County. I know the video probably doesn't show it, but this is a really steep fall to the bottom, so you just want to use caution. That rock is so smooth. It's just neat the way the water is cascading over that rock. We come to a bridge, and we're going to hike back up to the cabin, up to the Ravine Trail, into the parking area. Almost finished with the hike. Nice picturesque view of the bridge. Here we are, back at the cabin. As you can see, there's another nesting tower. We're back where we started. All in all, it was a beautiful morning for a hike. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching.